Hey everyone, this is my weekend vlog from last weekend. I'm not gonna lie, it's absolutely a mess. I tried to articulate my thoughts as best I could. You know, it is what it is. I hope you enjoy the chaotic mess, and I will see you in the next video. Welcome to my phone vlog weekend. I am going to be doing things this weekend. Not really a whole lot. Like, I'm not really going anywhere. I do have sprints on my channel tonight at 5 o'clock. It is going to be, originally I had it as battleathon sprints, but come to find out, since I'm not a host, I can't really say that they're battleathon sprints, which I am completely okay with. I'm still doing sprints tonight, regardless. So I'm going to bring you along with that. I'm going to bring you along with some things that I'm reading and doing and all the fun things, right? So before we get into it, please make sure that you always like and subscribe, and you always check my description box for my Bookish Box ambassador link, because who doesn't want a shirt that says Black Cat Bookseller Cafe? That's from the Bookish Box. So many good shirts, so many good things. Definitely check my link below because you get 10% off. But also you can follow me on any socials down there, my Pango Books account, and my Patreon. Everything is down there. Disregard my dishwasher in the background. I am doing some dishes. We are heading out right now. My husband's at work. I'm going to go pick him up. I have some boxes to take to the post office. I then will be picking him up, taking him to go and donate his plasma, and then be coming back here. I may take a nap whenever I get home because I'm going to be doing sprints for a few hours tonight, and you know, I got to get a little bit of rejuvenation in there. I did clean out my Keurig today. I didn't realize that you were supposed to buy these kits that descales and cleans it, so that was horrific, not gonna lie. Don't think that I should ever not clean my Keurig anymore. But yeah, so we're going to be doing that. But currently, what I'm reading is Cleaner of Bones by Meg Castle. This is the last book that I need to read in this series. There was 2 books. The first one was Blackbird of the Gallows, and then the second one was The Keeper of Bees. This is kind of like a prequel novella. It's only like 60 pages. Not bad. But I think 8 or 10 pages in. I kind of started it last night, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna wait because I need something to read while the husband's donating plasma. So I have that, and then also I have my Kindle in my Kindle case. I have not picked up my Arc of Dirty Lying Wolves for a couple weeks now. I need to, because you will probably see either this video first or the video that I'm also going to be recording today come up. I have an issue. I have a problem. I need you guys to hold me accountable because I have way too many arcs. Again, because what did I do? I was like, oh look, I only have like 5 or 6 left to get through. Let's just go see what's new on NetGalley. I need to like deactivate my NetGalley account because I'm never going to get to my physical TBR. Oh lordy. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. I'll update you as we go whenever I get further in to my books and such, but that's what we're doing right now. I am also listening to an audio arc of, what is it called? Throne of Shadows? You know, I'm not really sure. I'll update you whenever I get to the plasma place, whenever I actually open it, because I'm 65% of the way through. It's not bad. It's a romantic fantasy. I'll give you more thoughts then, but my dishwasher's going. It's probably loud on the video. I apologize. Let's head out the door, go to the post office, pick the husband up, and get to the plasma place. So I went to the post office today. I only got 3 packages, which I know that that sounds weird that I'm like shocked, but typically if I wait a week to go to the post office, there's usually like more. But I'm okay with that because that means I'm not spending as much money. But I'm here waiting for my husband to get done donating plasma. I think I'm going to start reading some of Cleaner of Bones. I really want to get back in this world. I absolutely love this story. It's a YA, gothic, paranormal slight romance. This one is more romance heavy than I want to say that the two like actual books in the duology are. I really love it. The gothic vibes are there. If you want something atmospheric for spooky season coming up and you really like gothic vibes, you like the paranormal vibes, you like something that's kind of like a mystery and that is unique, definitely check out Blackbird of the Gallows, which is the first book in that duology. You don't have to read Cleaner of Bones or even Keeper of the Bees because they're all like standalones in this world. If you wanted to just read The Blackbird of the Gallows, perfectly fine. You don't have to read any more in that world, but it consumes you. I really haven't been gravitating towards some YA reads lately, probably in the past year or two, but this one got me, you guys. This one got me, and I think it's because I read it during spooky season. I want to say I read it last November time frame. I loved it. I ate it up. There is a romance in there, no spice. There's a little bit of, like kisses or something, but no spice at all. It's all about like a mystery and harbingers of death. So it gives you all of those spooky feels. Loved it. So this one is about another harbinger, which I can't really tell you much because I don't want to give away what the harbingers are or how they came about. So it's about Reese, who is a harbinger, and they all it's not a pack because it's not like wolves or shifters or anything like that, but they all have a pack of them that go from town to town and they follow death. And you don't know why, you don't know who they are, what they are, how they came about, but you unravel that mystery in The Blackbird of the Gallows. I loved it. And this one is about Reese, and you learn about him and his group that he lives with, and he is in love with his neighbor. I can't say in love. He's infatuated with her. He likes her, I guess. Her name is Angie, and everybody around him is you need to get over her or don't be obsessing over her, different things like that. And that's about where I'm at. I kind of feel like this is going to be a very short romance type thing where maybe Angie feels the same way, maybe she doesn't, who knows, but it's a little novella, so it's gonna go very, very quick. But I did think that the last line on here was pretty good. It says, "But one hard lesson Reese has learned, becoming a harbinger of death was easier than unbecoming one." So, I already know about this story because you hear about it in Blackbird of the Gallows, and then you hear a lot more about it and you delve into more of their story in Keeper of the Bees. So I feel like I kind of ruined it for myself. I think, if you read this before you did Blackbird of the Gallows, I think that you would also run that book for you because it's the shock factor. It's who are the harbingers of death? What are they? How did they come about? So I would highly suggest reading Blackbird of the Gallows first if you wanted to. Then read Cleaner of Bones. And then go and read the second book, Keeper of the Bees. They follow different characters, but they're all in the same town, in the same world. So they do cross paths. I feel like if you read this before Blackbird of the Gallows, you're going to be ruined. You're going to be ruined by who the harbingers are, what they are, why they're there, what they do, why do they follow death, just different things like that. So anyway, I'm done. I have just rambled on about this series, but I love it. I love this series so much, and I'm really sad that I only have 60 pages left, and then I'm out of the world. I can go back and read it, but, it's just that, first time that you read it is always the best. So I went ahead, and this is published by Entangled. So I went into my Entangled Insiders group last night and posted a picture of the book. And I said, "What are you reading on Friday?" And I said, I need more from Meg Castle in this world. Are we going to get it? Probably not. I am 99% sure we are not. But you know what? I'm going to hold out hope for that last 1%. I'm going to hold out hope. So I'm going to go ahead and read this. I have been listening to my audio arc, and it's called Touch of Shadows by Jessica Thorne. This one comes out in the next month or two. I don't know. I need to research this. I don't know if the physical book or like ebook is out yet, but the audiobook doesn't come out for like another month or two. But it's good, you guys. It is so good. I am 75% of the way through. I just started this yesterday afternoon. I can't get enough of it. I only have like an hour and 45 minutes left of the audio, and I'm listening to it at like 1.5 times speed. So it's not super fast. But basically, let me give you a little synopsis of this book, because I think you might want to pick it up if you are a romantic fantasy lover. We are following our girl who, at the very beginning of this, she's like on the run, right? And she's going through the dark wood, I think is what they call it, where these creatures live and evil lurks, and you can, get killed or seriously hurt. So no one wants to go into this forest. But you are following our girl, and the reason why she's on the run is because straight off the bat, someone is having a baby. And all of a sudden, like the dark wood is coming alive, it's coming into the house, different things like that. You learn more about it, and I don't want to ruin that part of the story. But then all of a sudden, our girl needs to go on the run. She needs to run away. She needs to go south, all of these things. She ends up running into Finn, who is the prince of this area. And he's been like a friend of hers for a while. And they have this attraction. She's like, I don't know if I should be with him. I don't know if I should like him. But then you get into his POV and you find out that he likes her as well. Something happens to Finn and she has to do some things. Come to find out, Leander is the prince of like this other kingdom, and he finds her. He's been chasing her, so he ends up finding her. Things happen, you guys. All of a sudden, whenever Leander comes into the story, you start unraveling our girl's past. You start unraveling like what they're wanting for her, what she is destined to do, who her mother is, who her father is, all of these things. I am in love with this story. It's a romantic fantasy. It deals with witches and stuff. I feel like it's kind of a nice, refreshing take, because as of right now, there's no mentions of fae. Granted, I am a huge fae romantic fantasy lover, but I'm okay. I'm okay with this story. The way that our girl is, she's not completely airheadish. Like, she has a good head on her shoulders, and she has a good grip on reality and what she should and shouldn't do. But whenever it comes to Finn, she's not fully 100% thinking straight. Finn is the same way. He is a crown prince. He definitely knows how to run a kingdom. He has a good head on his shoulders. But whenever it comes to her, he doesn't. He like loses control. He goes ballistic. And then all of a sudden Leander comes into the thing. So I don't know if this is going to be kind of like a love triangle. I'm not a huge fan of love triangles, because then I end up falling in love with the guy that isn't the love interest, and then I become very sad and mad that the author didn't pick them. So I don't really like love triangles. Now, if we went into a like why choose polyamorous relationship, I'd be okay with that. But we can't do it with this story. And there's reasons why we cannot do it with this story, sadly. So I think it's going to be a love triangle. I think I'm going to end up falling for the wrong guy, because I already have feelings for one of them. Not going to tell you which one, but I already have feelings for one of them. And now I think the author is going to not pick that person. And I'm sad about it. Like, I already know. I've already resigned myself to that. If I was to compare this book to another book I would probably say that it's in the same vein of These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. Feels very not very YA, but it feels like in the YA new adult spectrum. It gives you the vibes of the good guy, the bad guy, the love triangle, the mystery. The girl is like the missing piece to like this vast thing that's happening, and she's like on a quest to make things right. So it's very much in the same vein of These Hollow Vows, which These Hollow Vows was originally kind of correlated to A Court of Thorns and Roses. I probably wouldn't agree with that. I mean, vibes, sure, but, you know, at this point, are we surprised that any author has similar vibes to A Court of Thorns and Roses or Throne of Glass? No, because Sarah J. Maas is like the queen of romantasy, literally the queen. I will die on that hill. However, I have 75% of that to go. I have 60 pages of this to go. And then I also will be picking up Dirty Lying Wolves tonight whenever I'm on sprints. I still need to record my video that is going to go up either before this or after this video. I haven't quite decided. But it's going to be all about the arcs that I am currently going to have to get through. And I need to stay off of NetGalley. You guys need to keep me accountable because I get myself in this mess like I was a few months ago. And then I finally got a grip on everything. And now I'm back in that mess, which I think is a little bit worse. So, yeah, I need to get to my physical TBR. I keep getting books that add to my physical TBR, but I'm not reading anything off of it. So that's becoming a problem as well. You know, just problems all around, right? Too much to read and not enough time. I think that is the same thing for everybody. But I'm going to quit jabbering. I'm going to go read this, and I will check in with you guys either before I get onto reading sprints or after I've started them. Once I have some updates on either Touch of Shadows or Cleaner of Bones or Dirty Lying Wolves. Maybe all three of them I will give you an update on. Who knows? There is still 4.5 hours to go. Excuse you. I don't know if you guys heard the motorcycles. But anyway, there's still 4.5 hours to go before sprints start. I don't even know if I'm going to get a nap in. Still need to get lunch. Just not enough time today. Thank goodness I cleaned the apartment this morning. So I'm going to go, guys, and I will update you whenever I have some thoughts or progression on some of my books or if something happens in the next 4.5 hours. Everything, you know, is possible. All right, guys, I'll see you soon. I am currently on sprints, on actually the last sprint. I have 21 pages to go. Everyone thinks that I can get it done in this last sprint. I have 23 minutes left. Let's see. That's like a minute a page. I don't know if I can do that, but let's get to it. It's so good. I'm going to give you my thoughts as soon as I get done, but I've been having so much fun on sprints with you guys. It's been so amazing. I hope more people join me. It's been quite an interesting 4.5 hours, shall we say, but I'm going to prop you up and we're just going to see how much I can get through on this book. I just wrapped up sprints with everybody. It was such a great night. I got a lot accomplished, and I'm ending week 2 of battleathon with Cleaner of Bones. I did get it finished. I absolutely love this world. It has all the gothic vibes. It has, a mystery, ancient beings that are not human. It's just all the feels. This is a little novella, so I suggest reading Blackbird of the Gallows first, then reading this, and then reading The Keeper of Bees, I think. Anyway, that's all 3 books in this series, and I absolutely loved it. I want to go back and read Blackbird of the Gallows now because the romance in here, the romance is such a small fraction of what this book is. It's not spicy at all, and this whole series has such a good gothic vibe, such a good and unique storyline. I mean, no one really has made a story like this, and it's just so good. So if you are looking for a book to read during the spooky season, Blackbird of the Gallows, and then read Cleaner of Bones, so good. I love it. It deals with harbingers of death. It deals with magic. It deals with so many things. There's a mystery. There is a big event that is going to be happening, and we don't know what it is, and we don't know who's going to be involved. I loved it. So I was so happy. I gave it 4 stars. I've already clocked it for the second week of battleathon. So tomorrow morning or afternoon, we'll be waking up to those results and seeing where our teams are. I'm on Team Snakes. We were in first place at the end of the first week, but anything could have changed, so we don't know. And then tomorrow, I also have sprints scheduled again. And I hope, that you joined me there because I've been doing quite a lot of sprints. And we also decided that on Patreon, we are doing the Stardew Valley Readathon in September. And then also, we are going to be doing a Patreon only live stream of playing Stardew Valley, and some of the people that are in my Patreon, if they have an Xbox, we are going to be doing a multiplayer Stardew Valley game. And I'm excited to play with everyone. And I'm going to live stream it for those on Patreon that don't have Xbox or don't play Stardew, so they can still be there talking with us with all the vibes and kind of telling us how they want our farms to go and all of these things. So I am so excited. So if you are interested in joining either the multiplayer aspect of Stardew or just being there for the live events, I think it's going to be like on every Monday night. Check my link in my description for my Patreon. Come join us over there. We have so much fun. But I'm going to head to bed now, you guys. I'm so tired. I just want to kind of relax tonight, and hopefully I can get to I'm already starting to yawn. Hopefully I can get to Dirty Lying Wolves tomorrow, get a good chunk of that read because it is an arc that I need to get read as soon as possible. That's what I've done today. I haven't really done a whole lot, but I'm glad that you are here for my weekend vlog of whatever shenanigans we want to get up to. But I hope you all have a good night, and we'll check in tomorrow on how far I get with Dirty Lying Wolves. Hey you guys, it's Sunday. Welcome to my bathroom. Let's put on my face and let's talk about some updates on books because I've made a little progress last night and this morning in a few books. I'm getting ready to do my ARC video that I don't know if it's going to come out before or after this. And so I need to get ready for that. And then also in a couple hours, I have sprints starting with you guys. So let's just get ready and let's just talk things. So I am definitely not a beauty guru, so I'm really not going to tell you much of what I'm using. But one thing that I do love is I use Bare Minerals Prime Time. It's the Hydrate and Glow Primer. My absolute favorite. I have a really weird combination. I have dry skin, but it's oily skin because it's so dry. I don't understand philosophy like that, but that's what I use. So let's talk about the Wolves book. Okay, what is it called? Dirty Lying Wolves by Sabrina Blackberry. I am not really liking it because it's my preference. I don't necessarily like shifting books. I don't like shifter romances. I mean, maybe if they're not wolves. I mean, I have liked, some dragon books and things like that, but I don't really like wolf shifter books. I don't know why. It's just something about it that really doesn't do anything for me. And, that's just a me thing. It's not anything that the author is doing that is wrong. But this is the third book in the Enchanted Fates series, and they are standalones in this world, but they also are a little interconnected. So you do need to read the first book in order to understand the overarching plot that is happening, because some of the characters that do come into play in the previous books, and then also previous characters are part of the new book, like how they continue on. So you really do need to read it from the beginning, which is Dirty Lying Fairies, but Dirty Lying Wolves. I don't know if I've given you an update on how the book is, or a synopsis for that matter. So let's just kind of go back to the beginning and talk about that. Also, before we get into that, I use a foundation that is bone is the color because I am so pasty. It's unbelievable. So basically, Dirty Lying Wolves is about how this wolf shifter and this sorcerer from the end of the second book, Dirty Lying Dragons, they are like connected in a magical way and not in a good way. So the wolf ends up biting a human girl who was trying to save her, essentially. She ends up being bitten, and then now they have to take her to their pack called Moon Peak, which is in like Canada, over by like the Nova Scotia area on the east coast, and they're like in the woods away from civilization. So she ends up going with them. They call her New Bite all the time, and there is 3 of the guy wolves and 1 of the girl wolves, Amelia, who is under this spell with the sorcerer. And she ends up getting there, and then come to find out things at this Moon Peak tribe isn't what people think, right? Like there is some mystery going on because 10 years prior, the alpha of that pack, he was killed whenever he was being kind of like overthrown. Like, I guess in a pack sense, you fight to the death on who's going to be the new alpha if you want to challenge them. But you have to have a good reason to challenge them. It can't just be, I want to challenge you because I want the power. You have to challenge them, like if something has happened, like if they are using their power in bad ways, or they're not thinking of the good of the pack type of thing. So at the time, there were all of these rogue wolves that were attacking the pack. So Evander challenges Liam to be the alpha. He ends up killing Liam, and becoming the alpha. And then these 4 wolves end up leaving and going rogue. They end up leaving the whole pack. They don't want anything to do with him. They don't like him, type of thing. So now 10 years, flash forward, they're going back to Moon Peak because they have the new bite. They need to get Amelia into safety because she's connected to the sorcerer. They need, some medicine and some treatment. So they end up going. Things are not what they seem. They are trying to understand why Amelia's sister, Naomi, never comes out of the pack house. Why did these rogue attacks just quit right after, like a month or 2 after Evander became pack leader, which you can kind of read between the lines, right? Like you understand why that happened. I mean, you know, you already can see that, but they don't understand what's going on. So that's where we're at in the story. I am 42% of the way through it, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not liking it. Like, the tension, the sexual tension, the romantic love interest and everything, like, I can see that I'm kind of on board with that, but whenever it comes to, like, pack politics and how they have a way of life, how they do things, I'm just not feeling it. I don't know if it's the writing. I don't know if it's just because I don't really like wolf shifters. I don't know. And like I said, it could just be a me thing. It could just be that I'm not really into wolf shifters. I'm not really into the whole like pack lifestyle. So I can't really discredit the author for that, because there's a lot of people that love wolf shifters. They love Omegaverse. They love all these things. This is not an Omegaverse story, but you get what I mean. Like, there's a lot of people that like those, just not me. So I'm still here for the story. I want to know what happens, because like I said, there is an overarching plot. And at the end of the second book, it's like 3 months passed. And all of a sudden, like in the epilogue of that book, our girl gets a call from someone and they're like, come to Moon Peak on the next full moon. There's something you need to see or something. And that's how that ends. And then here we are in Dirty Lying Wolves that is stretching that time frame from the time jump that they had. So now I'm like, what is happening in Moon Peak? What is going on? How is this going to kind of correlate with the overarching plot? I'm here for it. So I'm about 42% in. We're going to see how far I get during sprints, but I don't know. I don't know how much I'm really liking of it. Sorry, you guys. I could not put my eyeliner on while I was talking to you. There was just no way that was going to happen. But anyway, so like I said, I don't know how it's going to go. We're going to see. Right now, I'm kind of setting out a 3-star. I like the overarching plot. I like, you know, what's happening with the whole story, but the wolves are really just not doing it for me. So anyway, that's where I'm at on that. The next book that I have made progress in is the audio e-arc that I have, which is Touched by Shadows by Jessica Thorne. I am actually 80% of the way through it. I should be able to finish it today while I'm on sprints, and it's good. At first, I was not vibing with the story. It is a romantasy, and I've already talked about like kind of what it's about. We find out who our girl is and like who her father is, and I don't know if I necessarily like that storyline, because it's very simple. It has been regurgitated throughout like all romantasy books. So I am kind of on the fence about that. I don't know if I will end up liking this story or not. I'm still going to be giving it a shot. I'm still going to continue reading. But like I said, it's not wowing me, right? Like, I'm invested. The spicy scenes were spicy. Things are happening. Her mom comes into play and her mom's like, I never told you that. I never did this. Why are you doing this? Like, just questioning everything that she's done. And I'm like, listen, lady, she's an adult. She can choose what she wants to do. She can choose on who she loves, all of these things. But her mom is just like not having any of it, right? So it's kind of touch and go. I'm going to give more thoughts whenever I finish, but I wanted to give you guys an update on, you know, kind of how far I've gotten into everything and where I'm at before we get into sprints today, because I think I will finish the audio arc, because while I'm on sprints, I will end up having to start making dinner for me and my husband, because sprints is going to be going on for a couple hours, and then about 5 o'clock, I'm going to start dinner. So that's whenever I'm going to listen to the book more and see how I feel. I mean, like I said, I'm 80% of the way through it, so I already know that I'll finish it. Will I continue on with this series? That is yet to be determined, because I need to know kind of what's going to happen and how this author is going to set up the rest of the series, that's really going to be the clutch for me, because I can read a first book and not really be vibing with it, but still go on and end up loving the series. So it's all about what the author is planning on doing and how they're planning on setting things up. I'm just hoping that it's not going to be the same regurgitated storyline that's, oh, my father is evil and now I need to go be with him in his court, and or I'm running away from my mom because she's lying to me, whenever in all essence she's trying to keep her safe. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, guys. I don't know about this book. Also just found out today that Team Snakes, House Snakes, whatever you want to call it, is in second place. We got bumped out of, oh my goodness. We got bumped out of first, which is fine because the points reset. We're now going into week 3 where the points are reset. So it's anybody's game. But the funny thing is House Snakes is going head to head this week with House of Wings. And a couple of my subscribers are on House of Wings. So that's going to be kind of funny to watch and see how it all unfolds. It's sad though, because I was hoping that Snakes would go against somebody else. So then that way, you know, it gave Wings a chance to win, to go to the finals, and it gave Snakes a chance to go to the finals. So then we could kind of go head to head at the end. It's all for fun. You know, this is not a serious thing. It's not like we're, you know, being mean to each other. We are just being playful about it. So if you've ever joined us on our sprints and you've heard us talking, we're just having a fun time with it. And, you know, I saw that Mel had just posted about an hour ago the video that gave the standings. And poor Mel, she had COVID last week, so she wasn't able to read very much. And, you know, that really, it sucks because, you know, whenever you're wanting to participate in your own readathon and then you end up getting sick, that really sucks. But she posted the standings this morning. And of course, by the time this video goes live, it's not going to matter if I'm talking to you about the standings or not. But she always says, you know, give it an hour before you post the standings across any social media. So it gives people plenty of time to watch her video if they want to and participate that way. Because I always say, definitely support the content creators, because they spend a lot of time making these videos. They spend a lot of time putting effort into the readathons that they're doing. So always support the content creators. But we are done. I am all ready to go make my video, which I'm going to do. Relax for just a little bit before I get on sprints with everybody. It's just a relaxing Sunday. I have already got the cleaning done. The laundry is almost done, so I'm pretty happy for that. And we're just going to see how much I can get read. So I will catch up with you guys here in a little bit and go over that. But also, we will be participating in a Stardew Valley Readathon for September. So if anybody is interested, I will link the information down below if you want to join us. As you can see, I am currently on sprints with everybody. I have some updates for you. So basically what I have read, I finished up A Touch of Shadows by Jessica Thorne. I know that I had some wild ramblings before this whenever I was doing my makeup. Let's just forget that happened, okay? We're just gonna forget it. But anyway, basically our girl was raised by this woman named Elodie, who is her mother in the Darkwood, and something happens to her village. She's on the run. Finn, who is a knight or a prince in this kingdom or the neighboring kingdom, something like that. He comes to her rescue, something happens to him, she has to save him, and a bond is formed. But then all of a sudden, another guy named Leander from that neighboring kingdom comes, and he like acts all nice to her, but we know that that's not real. And then just everything, you know, turns a little bit different. Our girl is finding out who she is, finding out her background, just wave after wave after wave of information that she doesn't know how to handle. I loved how this wrapped up. The revelations, the plot twists, everything about it. It's a good romantic fantasy. I feel like the first book is a good foundation for what the series has to hold. I can't wait to get to the next one. I know I've talked about it quite a lot, so I'm not going to talk about it as much, but I did finish that up, and I've already logged it for my week 3 for Battleathon. Excited for that. Then I have also made about a 10% dent into Dirty Lying Wolves by Sabrina Blackberry. I was talking about this on Sprints earlier. I am having mixed feelings. I am not a big wolf shifter romance type of person. It's icky. I don't like it. I don't want to like it. But I am loving the storyline because of the overarching plot that we have going on throughout this world, because this is book 3. So of course I'm going to keep reading. I'm halfway through now. I feel like that things are starting to pick up now where I can kind of overlook that they're wolf shifters in a way and just enjoy the story, because I want to know what's going to happen. I know things are going to come to a head with all of these characters that we've met along the way, and I can't wait to see what happens. But so far, I want to say it's like a 3.5 star. It's went up a little bit more because I can kind of not think that they are wolf shifters. I don't know what it is, you guys. I like dragon shifters. I like fae. I like winged men. Why do I not like wolf shifters? I don't understand it. But I wanted to give you an update on that. I've made that progress. I have been on Sprints for about 5.5 hours today with you guys. I've gotten a lot done. I've got a lot of reading done. I finished 1 audiobook. I am halfway through this arc, which I should finish up in the next couple days. I have already filmed and edited the video that's going up Tuesday, so I'm pretty excited for that. I've met a couple of new people in the community, so I'm so happy you joined me on Sprints. And then also, I don't know if I've mentioned it in this video, but I'll mention it again. If you want to join my Patreon, we are going to start on Monday nights. We're going to be playing Stardew Valley, and if you have an Xbox and you are a Patreon member, we are going to start a community where it's going to be a multiplayer game, and you can come join us if you want. If not, you can just sit in on the live stream, give us some feedback on what you want us to do, how you want us to build things, how you want the story to go. So we have a little bit of that going on. So link in the description if you want to join the Patreon. But I'm just going to go and wrap up my weekend vlog. I know that I really didn't do a whole lot, but I hope you loved coming with me on this journey. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see more of this content or more weekly vlogs. And then also leave me a thumbs up emoji for us starting our little gaming community over on Patreon. But I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!